York State Athletic Commission. Judges are Frank Forbes and Harold Barnes. The timekeeper, George Bannon. Counting for the knockdowns, Arthur Mercanti. The referee, Ruby Goldstein. This contest, 15 rounds for the middleweight championship of the world. Introducing from West Jordan, Utah, wearing black trunks, weighing 157.25, the challenger, Gene Fullmer. His opponent from New York City, wearing white trunks, weighing 160 even, middleweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Robinson. Another contest to follow. Am I right in assuming that both you boys are familiar with the rules of the New York State Athletic Commission, and I expect you to follow them? Remember, tonight is a championship fight, and we're not going with the 8-count mandatory, and we're not going with the 3 knockdowns in 1 round. In the clinches, I'm going to let you punch till I think you're securely locked in. I'm going to ask you to break, and I want you to break by yourself instead of me physically parting you. Is everything clear now? We'll just shake hands now, not when you come out, and good luck.
All right, Bob Sheridan here, Madison Square Garden, New York City. You heard referee Ruby Goldstein say they're under the rules of the New York State Athletic Commission for this World Championship fight, scheduled for 15 rounds, 160-pound division. As the great world champion, Sugar Ray Robinson, and his usual white trunks. The challenger, Gene Fullmer, a native of West Jordan, Utah. Fullmer, by the way, is a favorite coming in tonight, which is unusual. You may know this fight was scheduled for last month in December, and Ray Robinson had a bit of a cold, so he got through the holidays training, so that should help him tonight. Happy New Year to everybody. The rules of the New York State Athletic Commission, you heard Ruby Goldstein say, no 3 knockdown rule, no standing 8 count. Ray Robinson, a native of Detroit, came in with a record of 138 victories, 5 losses, 2 draws. He's 3 inches taller than Gene Fullmer. Weight's exactly the same at 160. And Ray Robinson is 35 to the younger 25, 10 years older than Gene Fullmer. This is just round 1. It's scheduled for 15. The Fullmer beginning to keep some pressure on Ray Robinson in the early going here, showing no fear in the early going. Both men are coming off victories. Robinson fought a couple of months ago in November, beat Bob Provizzi. And Ward back in September of last year stopped Moses Ward in the 3rd round of his fight. Round 1 action. Robinson continues to stay right in front of Fullmer. Fullmer up and down, bangs to the body, comes inside. Every time they come inside now, Gene Fullmer seems to be able to hit the champ. "90 knockouts Ray Robinson has. Gene Fullmer never knocked out. So he's got his work cut out for him, the champ. You see now Ray Robinson, a little bit of movement makes it more difficult for Gene Fullmer to hit him. When he stands straight there, Fullmer will come in and bang to the body. You see the quickness is still in the hands of Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray is very smooth still in spite of the age of 35. Fullmer's young and very, very strong though. He's not afraid of the champ, bangs him behind the head. Ruby Goldstein doesn't say anything about banging him behind the head. So he'll continue to do that, I'm sure. This is round 1 action in the scheduled 15-round World Middleweight Championship fight. The bell ends round 1. So we're set for round number 2, a fairly even first round, but Fullmer may, on some judges' scorecard, may have taken round 1. I'm not quite sure on that one. A pretty close first round. Difficult to score, but I thought that Fullmer certainly landed a lot of blows, many more than the champ. As you know, Ray Robinson is in his 3rd reign as middleweight champion. He won the title from Jake LaMotta back in 1951, lost it to Randy Turpin, then won it back from him all in that same year. And he gave up the title in 52 to fight Joey Maxson for the light heavyweight title. And then he won the title back again, this middleweight championship, a couple of years ago, beating Carl Bobo Olsen. The champ doesn't look like himself tonight. I mentioned that cold that he had, but he may just be trying to figure out this young and strong Gene Fullmer, the pride of West Jordan, Utah. Fullmer coming in, 36-3, 29 KOs. He's in his 5th year as a pro. 25 years old, as I mentioned. That's Fullmer to the left of your screen in the black trunks with a white trim. And, of course, Sugar Ray Robinson, a figure you all know very, very well, in the white trunks. You see what I mean about Robinson not firing, not getting off when Fullmer gets inside, and Fullmer bangs behind his head and bangs to his body. This could take a toll later on. I get the idea that Ray Robinson has a fight plan here, but he doesn't seem to be executing it. At times, you see the great lightning hand speed, but look at this as Gene Fullmer really bangs inside. Ray Robinson holding the left hand, and look at Fullmer. There had to be about 7 or 8 punches right behind the left ear of the champ. It makes it difficult for Ray Robinson because Gene is bobbing. He goes back and forth. He slides inside of it. That time, a pretty nice uppercut got the attention of the crowd on hand here at Madison Square Garden. They like it when Ray Robinson does something. Ray, of course, is the pride of Harlem. Everybody up there loves him. Oh, look at this! Now, some of those shots get through. And look at the way Fullmer comes in. He covers up with that left forearm. Now he's inside using his left hand to bang the champion. Closing seconds now of the second round of the fight. Another pretty good round for Gene Fullmer. Look, he comes right through that outstretched hand. The champ ties him up, but Fullmer always has one hand free. The bell ends round 2. Here we go, round number 3, Madison Square Garden, New York City. On this, the second day of the year of 1957, Sugar Ray Robinson, the middleweight champion of the world, in the white trunks, in the black trunks, the challenger, Gene Fullmer. 2 terrific fighters in here. You see, again, as it's been going on in the first couple of rounds, as the champion ties up Gene Fullmer, Fullmer always seems to have one hand free. Usually, you have Ray Robinson locking down with his right elbow on the left hand of Fullmer, and he has the right hand free and bangs to the ear of Ray Robinson. You see Ray Robinson coming with that uppercut, but it's not effective. These shots have got to take a toll, and referee Ruby Goldstein is not saying anything about hitting behind the ear at all. I suppose he figures if Robinson's going to hold him, he's got to protect himself. Maybe that's his way of making fighters not hold as much. Round 3 action. That time the right hand gets through by Gene Fullmer. Fullmer to the left of your screen now. Sugar Ray Robinson to the right. Ray Robinson now wants to fight outside the punching power of Gene Fullmer. Fullmer would like a brawl inside. The champ would like to fight outside, but every time they come in, you see that right hand free? He wings it and wings it. What Ray Robinson needs to do is get the left hand outside the right shoulder of Fullmer and completely tie him up. But he's pretty cute. He does the holding in the offside away from referee Ruby Goldstein, who's one of the very best in the world, as you know. Round 3 action, a bit of a better round for Sugar Ray Robinson. And as I say that, a glancing blow just whistled past the chin of the champ. Robinson has the ability to parry a shot, then he comes inside. Fullmer seemingly unaffected by any power shots that have been thrown by Sugar Ray Robinson at this point. Left hand in the face of Ray Robinson. Robinson again now, you notice he just stands flat-footed. Every once in a while, he will feint. He showed his quickness on his feet that time. Every once in a while, you see the great signs of brilliance of Sugar Ray Robinson of old. The quickness in the feet, the hand speed, the ability to tie up. But remember, this is only round 3. The champ has a fight plan that may see opening up like this. There's a real good left hand, and then the right hand shot Gene Fullmer that time. And that's the first real good flurry. And as I said, you can look for the champion to show some signs of greatness from time to time, and that was one of them. That's certainly his hand speed. Closing seconds now, the third round of what now is shaping up into a pretty good fight. Big, heavy blows by Fullmer. The bell ends, round 3. Now it's set for round number 4. Here we go. Scheduled for 15 rounds. This is the World Middleweight Championship, the 160-pound division. I'm Bob Sheridan. Glad you can be with us. This is a memorable day for all of us here in Madison Square Garden, New York City. Ray Robinson starting a bit slow tonight against the young Gene Fullmer, but he came on in the 3rd round. This is round 4. You notice that it's Sugar Ray that's doing the holding on, and Gene Fullmer who likes to throw the punches when he's being held. Outside of that, this is the area right here where I think that Robinson should fight the fight, but Fullmer doesn't want that fight to go on out there. He wants to be inside. The champ is not using his jab like we've seen him in previous fights. As I say that, he does use it, but he's not doubling with it. Not doing some of the things that he once did. Tries to get Fullmer, who's much more awkward and a difficult fighter. This should be a terrific fight before it's over because you've got the contrasting styles. You see the brilliance that Robinson will show from time to time in the legs and the quick hands and the real slick boxing ability. And you see Gene Fullmer plod forward, come forward, tie up, bang. So with these contrasting styles, oh, the left hook gets through. Nice job that time by the champion. If the judges see it the way I see it and have Fullmer winning the first 2 and Robinson the 3rd round, here in round 4, Ray Robinson is continuing what he did in round 3. It's a very even fight. Now the double jab, the right hand catches the challenger. You see what happens, though, immediately when Ray Robinson ties him up. When Ray was 25 years old, you wouldn't see him tying men up this much. At 35, he has to. Still a brilliant fighter. And he's dictating the flow of this fight. When he decides he'll tie up, he'll tie up. When he wants to box, he'll box. For Fullmer, the challenger, he just keeps coming forward. Just keeps tracking him down. And as I say that, Ray Robinson backs him up. Nice left sort of hook uppercut. You notice a lot more leg movement by the champ. Ray Robinson, when he moves side to side, is much more difficult for Gene Fullmer to hit. But the 25 to 30-year-old Robinson could do that side-to-side movement all night long. He circles to the left, sets himself up, tries to control the hand speed, ties him up inside, and Fullmer pounds away. Coming up to the end of round number 4 in Madison Square Garden. A good round for Sugar Ray Robinson. We're ready for round number 6, World Middleweight Championship. Sugar Ray Robinson, and you're looking at Gene Fullmer. This is a very even fight. I thought Fullmer won 1 and 2, Robinson 3 and 4, and I thought Gene Fullmer won the 5th round. I've got him 1 point out in front in this fight. No 3 knockdown rule in this fight. Neither fighter has been shaken. Neither fighter has been down. Neither fighter has been cut. It's a very close fight on the scorecards, I'm sure. Now you see Robinson goes with that left jab, tries to keep him off because it seems like when Gene Fullmer wants to come in that the champ can't keep him off. Robinson circles left and circles right, stands inside, comes to that uppercut. That one caught Gene Fullmer. That one opened his eyes a bit. He knows he's in with a good fighter. A good fighter, you'd have to say at this stage of his career, he's still great. But look who comes back with a solid right hand to the left jaw of Sugar Ray Robinson. Robinson throwing more punches in the 6th round of the scheduled 15-round affair here. Big crowd on hand in Madison Square Garden. Catches him with the uppercut as he comes in, but the plodding Fullmer keeps the pressure on the aging champion. This is a real good round for Sugar Ray Robinson here in the 6th. Robinson getting the jab through. He's doubling with the jab. He throws the right hand behind it, doing the things he must do to keep this very, very tough and young and strong middleweight contender off him. Notice that time when he was tied up, Fullmer didn't throw anything to the head. And you wonder what toll the punches that Sugar Ray has landed are actually taking an effect on him now. A little tentative coming in. He caught him with a good shot, more or less to the upper torso. Didn't hurt him any, but caught him off balance. Inside. The right hand is free. Bangs to the ribs, bangs to the hip, to the back. Now referee Ruby Goldstein's seen enough. Separates the two fighters. This is 6th round action. Robinson, I would say, won the first minute of this round, and now it's Fullmer coming back. Look at these shots. There's 3 in a row. Inside again, 4. Tries to bang to the body, catches him in the kidney. Boy, good shots to the body by Gene Fullmer, and 3 good shots to the head. Now this becomes a difficult round to score because Robinson landed some nice shots. You see that uppercut inside? Robinson can still do it. Shows flashes of the greatest. Nice left hook by Ray Robinson. Now he pushes him through the ropes. This is settling into a very difficult fight for both fighters, the champ and the challenger. A long looping shot, and it looks almost like Robinson slipped there at the end, but I saw referee looking at Arthur McCanty, and they have scored a knockdown. A little controversy there. All right, we're set to go here with round number 7 in Madison Square Garden. The World Middleweight Championship is a tough one for Sugar Ray Robinson tonight. Gene Fullmer has come to fight, has come to lift this title. That, by the way, was ruled as a knockdown at the end of the 6th round. You saw the problems they had with the ropes. They seem to be very loose and have caused a bit of a problem in the judgment, I think, of Ruby Goldstein. It has to do with his positioning, where he was standing, because Fullmer had thrown a shot, and then they were inside, and he kind of pushed over Sugar Ray Robinson, but from the positioning that Ruby was standing at, he called it a knockdown. So that's the way it's scored. And with that, on my scorecard, I've got Fullmer out in front of this fight. So this is the 7th round. Fullmer, the challenger, to the right of your screen. Sugar Ray Robinson. I don't know if he's aware that that was actually scored a knockdown, but he better pick up the pace a bit now, because if in fact it's the way we've seen it, that the judges see it the same way, the champion is behind. But I'll check that in between the 7th and 8th round to be sure that it was officially scored as a knockdown. 7th round action. Champ tries to keep pressure on the challenger. Ray Robinson wants to use that hand speed, but you see how awkward Gene Fullmer comes at him and pressures him. Fullmer has been most successful when he is inside and using that right hand as a sledgehammer. Nice uppercut by Ray Robinson. And there he goes through the ropes that time. That one will be scored. You hear Arthur McCanty doing the counting, and it's up to 6 and 7. He went through the ropes. Again, a problem with that lower rope, but that one will be a knockdown for sure. He caught him with a nice right hand, bangs to the body again, and if the 6th round wasn't a knockdown, the 7th definitely was. I don't think the champion likes being pushed around like this, and he comes with an uppercut. Fullmer keeping the pressure on. He's gaining confidence. Uppercut inside. champ scores. Now you see the fast hands of Sugar Ray Robinson. And now we've got a war on our hands. Robinson doesn't like being pushed down and doesn't like being pushed through the rope. He was hit, though. Seventh round, probably the best round. You can hear the crowd really getting into it. They love it. And, of course, they love Sugar Ray Robinson here. Gene Fullmer has a small contingent of people out from Utah in the west here supporting him. Uppercut, left hand, scored by Sugar Ray. Ray a little bit short with that one. Continues to bounce on those feet. Now showing the hand speed, looking terrific. Closing seconds now, the seventh round. The bell ends the seventh. We're set to go now with round number 8 in the scheduled 15-round World Championship fight. Middleweight division, 160 pounds. Both fighters came in at the limit of 160. The big difference on that tail of the tape, the height and reach advantage for Sugar Ray Robinson, the 10-year age advantage being younger is Gene Fullmer. However, the 10 years of experience that Sugar Ray Robinson has, he will need to rely on now because I have Fullmer out in front in this fight. I've got Robinson only winning 3 and 4, which means Fullmer's a couple of rounds out in front in this fight. I checked with Arthur McCanty in between the 7th and this 8th round to find out that the 6th round was eventually scored a push. It was not a knockdown, so that makes a little bit of a difference on the judges' scorecards. But the 7th round was definitely scored a knockdown, as we called it. So here we are as the 8th round continues now, and Ray Robinson needs this round. Crowd in Madison Square Garden loves this. A great way to start off the new year. It might be January 2nd, but it's New Year's Eve here in the Garden. It's hard to believe it's 1957 already. That long looping hand just grazed Robinson, but he's able to gobble it up. He is in good condition. I thought in the early going it was more strategy than the fact that I questioned a bit of the conditioning of Robinson, but he's in good shape. This is a real tough fight. We're in the 8th round, past the midway portion, but I have the champ behind. The only knockdown in the fight in the last round officially. And of course there was the push in the 6th. And now we're back to the way it was in the first couple of rounds of the fight, where Robinson ties up Fullmer and Fullmer bangs him with that right hand. Fullmer a little bit more flat-footed now. He goes with the jab occasionally, but look at the hand speed still of Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray has a tendency to put on flurries from time to time that can steal a round that a plodding challenger should win. Robinson could steal rounds, but not when the challenger's throwing shots like this. That one catches him high in the cheek. Now that's the first time that has happened. Most of the time, he's catching him behind the ear. Neither fighter has been cut, and in spite of the knockdown in the last round, neither fighter has been shaken. We're coming up to the closing bell now of the 8th round. And I think this is Fullmer's round as well. And Ruby Goldstein, the referee, separates the two as the bell ends round 8. All right, we're just about set for round number 9 at Madison Square Garden for the World Middleweight Championship. You're looking at Gene Fullmer, the pride of West Jordan, Utah, taking on the pride of Harlem, the pride of New York City, the pride of Detroit, Sugar Ray Robinson. And just about everybody else, with the exception of that small area in Utah, Ray Robinson is not only a champion from New York, he's a champion of the United States and a champion around the world. And he is the reigning world middleweight champ. Now all he has to do is fight like one. We're in the 9th round. This is scheduled for 15. I have Robinson behind. Fullmer now with the left hand as Robinson is tired of being hit to the left side of his head. He ties up the right hand of Gene Fullmer. Robinson short with a jab. You get the idea that when Robinson wants to open up, he can land shots but he's just not busy enough. And he needs to get busy real soon. He's fighting a fighter that's never been knocked out. And so far, the power of Ray Robinson, you get the idea he's not going to knock out Gene Fullmer. He will have to win on the scorecard. And if that's the case, he'd better start picking up the pace. Again, Fullmer lands 2-3 punches to the body. Nothing fancy, nothing pretty. Everything Robinson does is fancy. Everything Ray Robinson does is pretty. But it's not effective. And you know, one of the things the judges look for is effective aggressiveness in scoring a fight. And I would have to say that Sugar Ray Robinson at this stage in round 9 is lacking in effective aggressiveness. As a nice uppercut. Oh, the flashes of things he does every once in a while. And these are the things he used to do all the time during the course of a fight. And a man at age 35 with over 140 fights cannot do the things at 35 that he could do at 25. And this is a sign. Remember, Ray Robinson retired once. Sugar Ray, nice combination. This is his best round in about 4 or 5 rounds. This is Ray Robinson's round at this point in the 9th round. Sugar Ray bouncing more on the legs, and that's when he's effective, when he moves from side to side, when he comes in, gets back out. Hit and don't get hit, that's the philosophy. Now look at him load up. This is why he's world champion. And Fullmer wants no part of it and backs him off. Now his Fullmer decides, I can pull power through. Ray, you notice that time, tried to tie up both hands. He's tired of being hit in the head. Coming up to the closing portion now of this, the 9th round. See if there's a big finish. Nice right uppercut by the champ. And the bell ends the 9th round. All right, we're just about set to go for round number 10 in what is shaped up as a real good middleweight championship fight here in Madison Square Garden, New York City. On the 2nd day of January, the 2nd day of this year, 1957. Ray Robinson being pushed by the challenger Gene Fullmer. He's behind in the fight. That's unofficial, but that's the way I see it. Robinson won the 9th round, in my opinion, but Fullmer won every round going back to the 4th. As a matter of fact, in the 7th round, he had Robinson down, the champ, and the champ didn't like it. But he hasn't answered that call until the 9th round. Now let's see if he can continue it here. Tying him up a little bit more than he was. You notice again, he didn't leave that right hand free of the challenger, Gene Fullmer. Fullmer in black to the right. The champion in his white trunks. Now there's that right hand, that sludgehammer, as I called it. Pounding behind the ear again. 3 or 4 times every time. Neither fighter has been hurt in spite of the questionable knockdown in the 6th round, which eventually was not scored a knockdown. And then the one that was scored a knockdown in the 7th, where Robinson could push through those loose ropes. But this is one of those rounds that to this point is difficult to score. The sludgehammer right of Fullmer, effective. He comes inside. Sugar Ray tries to tie him up, effectively tie him up, but you see, look at the shoulder come up that time. Crowd doesn't like that when he does things like that. Fullmer doesn't need to resort to that. He is a brawler, he is tough. He's all that the people thought he would be. You know, he came into this fight favored. And it's unusual against a champion the quality of Sugar Ray Robinson that the challenger would be favored. But this kid is ready for his world title shot. 29 knockouts and 36 wins. He's a good one. I got the official crowd now. 18,134 in the Garden tonight. That's the biggest crowd since the Bubba Olson Randy Turpin fight back in 1953 when they had 18,869. So we're right on that tonight. It's still the mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden. Left hand to the face of Fullmer, taken lightly on the nose, and you see him come back and really pound the head of Ray Robinson. Ray, while he ties him up with that elbow, can't throw his right hand when he's inside. And this is a more even 10th round, but I think perhaps Robinson has won this 10th round because he has landed quite a few shots, and he has stolen the eye of the judges as the bell ends the 10th round. All right, we're ready to go to round number 11. I'm Bob Sheridan. Hope you're enjoying this World Championship fight. The middleweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Robinson in the white trunks, Gene Fullmer in the black trunks. Fullmer lands a looping right hand to start this 11th round. Robinson, in my opinion, has won the last 2 rounds, making the fight a little bit tighter, but nonetheless Fullmer out in front with these last 5 rounds to go. This is championship time now. Round 11 is a round that Sugar Ray Robinson needs to keep it going. I had Fullmer winning 5, 6, 7, and 8. Robinson winning 9 and 10, but Fullmer also winning the first 2, with Robinson winning 3 and 4. So out in front in this fight, still by a couple of rounds, is the challenger, Gene Fullmer. This is a good fight. It's been a hard fight. It's been a lot like this a lot of the way. Nobody really shaken, nobody really hurt. Robinson was down in the 7th officially. He was hit, and a pretty good right hand got through. Nice left hook that time by the challenger. Robinson tries to answer. He misses wide with a right uppercut, but scores with 2 nice left hooks. One pretty good one, one light one, taking to the ear. But it takes no toll on Gene Fullmer. You see the champ up on his toes, and the crowd loves it when he does that. But it's Fullmer who comes forward. Watch that head, fellas. You see Ruby Goldstein telling him, hey, watch the head now, Gene. He came in that time and was dangerously close to giving him a butt across the nose with that head. Now it's off to the side. Champ trying to tie up both arms, but Gene Fullmer able to get over that left arm of Ray Robinson to hit him behind that left ear that's been vulnerable all night. And in some cases is the difference, in my opinion, of Fullmer winning some of the rounds he's won, because those are heavy shots and must be scored. If you're going to have good defense, just like I said about aggressiveness, it must be effective aggressiveness. If your defense is going to be good, it must be effective. While Robinson is able to tie him up effectively, it's ineffective the way he's doing it, in that he's being hit by that right sledgehammer all the time of Gene Fullmer. And this may be the difference in the fight when it's all said and done, unless something dramatic happens here in the last few rounds. But Fullmer is doing exactly what he needs to do. Ray Robinson, at that stage, buckled the knees of Gene Fullmer. I was going to say, just about to say, needs to do something dramatic, and just as I said it, he did it. He buckled the knees of the challenger, but the challenger is so strong at age 25. And while I mentioned a few rounds ago that I thought that the champ could open up anytime he wanted, it's Fullmer who seems to be the stronger of the two. The bell ends round number 11. Ready for round number 12. Remember, this is scheduled for 15. World Middleweight Championship, 160-pound division, and a tough fight for both men. The champ, Sugar Ray Robinson, has all he wants with Gene Fullmer. The champ has used the tactic of tying up Fullmer, while Fullmer has taken advantage of being tied up when his right hand is free and has really banged the right side of the head of Ray Robinson almost every time it's happened. Ray Robinson shows signs of flashes from time to time, like just then, with the left hook being very effective. He got the right hand through that time. But you see, it doesn't take a toll on the younger Gene Fullmer. Oh, nice right shot just underneath the heart of the champion. And the infighting all goes to Gene Fullmer. If the judges see it this way, we may have a brand new world champion tonight. Bangs him behind the head continually. Goldstein does mention to Fullmer about hitting behind the head, but he's letting him get away with those shots right at the ear. And that has got to be taking some toll on Ray Robinson, because if you total it up, 7 to 10 of them in every round, and now we're in the 12th round, you're talking approaching somewhere between 100 and 120 punches that he's taken around that ear, and that has to take a toll. If Fullmer can punch. Oh, look at that! Ray Robinson lands it. The champ still has it. He's flashy, there's no doubt about it. And against the lesser opponent than Gene Fullmer, he might have been able to take him out at that time, but Fullmer is young and very, very strong. There he is inside with the right hand free this time, banging behind that ear again. You see what I mean? Champ tries to get up on the toes. You get an idea that the elasticity that he had in the early rounds is not in those legs, that the bounce isn't quite what it was in the first 5 or 6 rounds of the fight. Fullmer continues to put pressure on him. Champion wants to jab and box outside. The challenger loves to brawl inside, making for this terrific fight here in the Garden. And every once in a while, Fullmer shows that he can box outside too. He's willing to take the uppercut to get inside and land. This is the second one. And it's always 1, 2, or 3 shots to that left ear of Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray shows the hand speed. He's up on the toes again. Circling left, comes with the uppercuts inside. The crowd likes it now. Champion showing great signs of flashiness. The big solo punch, the uppercut, the left hand. All of this looking like a real good round in the making for Sugar Ray Robinson. Closing seconds of the 12th round, and he might just steal this round after otherwise losing it. The bell ends the 12th round. A nice finish for Ray Robinson. All right, we're set to go to the 13th round of a fight that is for the World Middleweight Championship. There's Gene Fullmer, the challenger, still slightly out in front of this fight. I've got him 2 rounds out in front with 3 rounds to go. The champion has come on very good in the last part of this fight. I think Robinson won the 10th, the 9th. The 11th was fairly even. He may have taken that on some judges' scorecard, and I thought he won the 12th. So Robinson has won the second half of the fight, Fullmer the first half of the fight. The big difference could be that knockdown in the 7th round. And the man that was knocked down is the world champion, Sugar Ray Robinson. That could be the difference in the fight to this point. Let's see how it finishes. It promises to be a real good 3 rounds here. Champion side looks a little dogged as he's nailed by left and right hands inside by the challenger, Gene Fullmer. Fullmer came in 36-3, 29 knockouts. The champion, 138 victories, only 5 defeats, 2 draws, and 1 no contest. Ray Robinson began fighting way back in 1940, some 17 years ago. You see the 2 fighters, they continue to fight the same way that this fight has been going in the last few rounds, and that Robinson likes to hang on, and when he's hanging on, Fullmer loves to hit him with that right hand. Champ doing sort of what he has to do here, although he let Fullmer bore in on him. Bangs to the body, bangs back upstairs. Robinson just doesn't do any real serious infighting at all. He has to do it out here. He's up on his toes. He gets through with a jab, but look at the 4 answered punches by Gene Fullmer, banging him into the ropes. Ropes have been a problem on a couple of occasions tonight, in both the 6th and 7th round. We're in the 13th round here. As you see, the champion has all he can handle in the challenger, Gene Fullmer. And again, on my scorecard anyway, I've got the challenger out in front of this fight. Although this is another pretty good round for Sugar Ray Robinson. But some of the heavier blows in this round, it's a question too, are being landed by Gene Fullmer. So the light glancing blows, and a lot of them landed by the champ. The jab, the uppercut. He should have thrown that left hook, a little bit tentative that time. But he doesn't want to get in position right in front of Gene Fullmer, so Fullmer can throw a big right hand. Fullmer almost falls with the left hand. Very closing seconds of the 13th round. This is another close round. The bell ends the 13th round. Bob Sheridan, Madison Square Garden. It's the World Middleweight Championship. The bell starts round number 14. Now, if you notice something strange as you look across the way, directly opposite from where I'm sitting, and the view that you have, the bottom rope is actually missing, but it's only missing from that far side. Nonetheless, it could be dangerous for the two fighters. You see off to the right, but in front of us right here above me, we have it there. Strange situation, but they didn't want to hold things up. The fight is too good. And it really hasn't been a major factor except back in the 7th round when Robinson momentarily was pushed through the rope. This is round 14. Nice shot landed in a glancing blow right back to the right hand. Now I notice the left eye of the champion is beginning to show the wares of that thundering, booming right hand that has cut him so many times to the left side of his face. And you notice when Fullmer comes inside that his head is right in that eye too. Now he's banging at the ear, but every once in a while, it looks like there's a little slit there that's beginning to open up by the left eye of the champ. So he's beginning to look like a man who could be headed for defeat. At least he looks that way. There have been signs of flashes of the one-time super great middleweight champ, Sugar Ray Robinson. But Gene Fullmer has been all he can handle tonight. See that head there? See that right hand? Oh, he's banging right on that eye. He sees the cut and he's opened it more. Now you can see the blood actually coming down to that eye. This could be a problem. Sugar Ray is as tough as they come, and he's been down the road many, many times. 138 victories with that sum record. Only 5 losses, a couple of draws. But look at the blood coming down to that eye now. And you saw Fullmer go right after it. Fullmer is beginning to feel like he's going to lift this title tonight. The left hand gets inside, and right now, Sugar Ray trying to protect that eye, and it's not effective at all the way he's doing it. Fullmer having a real good round here in the 14th. I thought the 12th round was Robinson's. I thought the 11th round was either way. But this 13th round was Fullmer's, and the 14th is all Fullmer. Champ, again, flashes every once in a while, but he's cut. Remember I mentioned back in the middle rounds that I thought that those shots to the right side might take the toll. Didn't really think of the cut. But you see Fullmer is going after that. He's trying to hurt that eye. See Robinson brush the blood away. Long looping hand gets through, but it's totally ineffective. So coming up to the end of the 14th round of this fight for the World Middleweight Championship. There's the bell ending round 14. So we're set to go for the 15th and final round here at Madison Square Garden, the World Middleweight Championship. It's been a tough fight throughout. Sugar Ray Robinson is behind. He really needs a knockout to win the fight. Gene Fullmer has given him all he can handle. Let's see how this 15th round unfolds. Champ up on his toes, bouncing, but he's staying right in front of Fullmer. And all of the movement of the champion has been ineffective as far as I'm concerned. Gene Fullmer has been the stronger of the two fighters throughout. Fullmer backing off, trying to draw him in, staying outside that lightning left hand of the champ. You see him paw the way he comes in with that left hand. He's looking to throw the right hand. What he's trying to do is paw down the right hand of Ray Robinson so he doesn't get hit with that uppercut that Robinson caught him with a couple of times during the course of the fight. And he doesn't want to get clipped with it, and he's trying to throw his own right hand. So Fullmer, while he looks awkward, is a good fighter. And very well may be world champion before this night's over. And that's the way it's been going. At this time, Ray Robinson is trying to win this round. You see, the champ comes forward, covers himself up. The challenger keeps coming forward as well. And when they get inside, the champ ties him up. Blood trickling from that left eye that was opened up in the 14th round. We're in round 15. The champion in the white trunks taking the beating behind the ear again as referee Ruby Goldstein moves in. Robinson starting fast in this round. Nice left hook, nice right uppercut. But you see the power of Fullmer. He hits him one shot in the champ. His back goes right up against those far ropes. There's far 2 ropes as we pointed out. The crowd loves it here. Now he's tied up again, and there's the slughammer right, as I've been calling it. Right on top of the eye again. The crowd doesn't like that when he does that. But Fullmer came to win the World Middleweight Championship. All the way out here from West Jordan, Utah. And look at him as he throws wild shot there in the 15th and final round of this fight. It's championship time, and Fullmer wants the title. Ray Robinson says, you're not going to take it, as he stays up on his toes, goes out with the left hand. The crowd loves it here in the 15th. The left hand gets through. They want Ray Robinson to knock him out. It's not going to happen. This man has never been knocked out. Gene Fullmer has 36 wins and has scored 29 KOs. He doesn't seem to have what it takes to knock out Sugar Ray both times that he's been on the canvas. Now you see that forearm in the face of Ray Robinson. From time to time, Fullmer will do things like that. He's trying to intimidate the champ. The round is coming to an end, and the champion wants to keep his title. Has he done enough? I don't know. Look at this. He's tied up again. Fullmer bangs behind the ears. Inside shot. It's top of his side. The bell ends a terrific fight. This one goes into the book. It's a terrific fight. To start off the boxing year of 1957, we've got a terrific middleweight championship fight. It'll go to the scorecards. I believe that Fullmer has won this fight and will be the new champion. But we'll have to wait to make it official. Ray Robinson started out slow, with Fullmer winning the first couple. Robinson came back to win 3 and 4. Fullmer did a great job through the middle portion of the fight, and Robinson came back. We'll make it official when we go to our ring announcer and get the official scoring. Here we are.
Referee Ruby Goldstein scores at 8-5, 2 even, favor of Fullmer. Judge Frank Forbes, 10-5, favor of Fullmer. Harold Barnes, 9-6, favor of Fullmer. Winner by unanimous decision, and the new middleweight champion of the world, Gene Fullmer.
So Gene Fullmer is the brand new middleweight champion of the world. I thought he won it. The judges had him winning it by even a wider margin than what we saw. Nonetheless, a terrific fight for Gene Fullmer, and I don't know what that means for the career of the great Sugar Ray Robinson. We have a brand new 160-pound middleweight champion of the world. His name is Gene Fullmer.